Yo, what's good YouTube? SSB Gokai here, and today, guys, we're gonna kind of go over and talk about some of the recent things that has happened in Dragon Generations in the past few weeks. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so first and foremost, a lot of people have been complaining about this. The Super Saiyan 4 nerf. I'm gonna be real. It's not as bad as y'all think.
You fucking traitor!
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
And, yeah, that's my honest opinion. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, for anyone starts freaking out, being like, oh, they shouldn't have nerfed it, it shouldn't have nerfed it, I was dealing like 2 point gazillion damage before this whole thing happens, like, they should... Chill, okay? Super Saiyan 4 is still one of the best paths in the game. And the reason for it is because, one, if you're a pure Saiyan Super Saiyan 4, you're still getting a 60% damage buff. Two, as a hybrid Saiyan, you're getting a 45% damage buff, but you also have your race ability. That gives you 2 times damage when you're in red health. That, like, you're still dealing a ton of damage. And, you know, as you guys can see in the gameplay, I am playing as a fusion with times 20 Kaioken Saiyan Deity in red health. My passive is fully procced, and I'm melting Beerus's HP like fucking butter. That is how good the passive is. Now, you know, you're not going to be doing as much damage, because it did also get nerfed. All forms actually got nerfed, because you're no longer able to use Bobity's Mind Control on top of your power-ups. Mainly the power-ups that give you damage buffs. So, kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm still able to use the Kaioken times 20 cheese with fusions, and still be able to absolutely decimate Beerus's HP. I'm literally 4-shotting Beerus with relative ease. But it's just Super Saiyan 4, like, here's another reason why I don't think the nerf is that bad. Before the change, Super Saiyan 4 was only useful in PvE. It can only be used in PvE, so therefore, if you were in raids, guess what? You weren't getting your passive off. If you were in PvP, it was even worse, because you were still not getting your passive off. And unlike with Majins, none of those buffs carry over to servers, so therefore, you're not keeping any of the damage buffs that you get. You have to be in that same server, and it does wear off over time. So, I mean, you wanna sit there and keep telling me that the nerf was unnecessary? And, you know, the reason why that had to happen was because it's more or less to kind of balance it now that it can be used in raids and PvP. Imagine if you were just getting crits non-stop in a PvP match and you get a 60 or 45% damage buff. Imagine how unfair that would be. Now in raids it's not as bad in raids, because you kind of want to get that extra damage off, but for it to be able to be used in PvP now, yeah, no, it kind of needed that nerf in damage, just a smidgen. And it had to be changed to where you could get that damage buff in a PvP scenario. So that's why when some people were trying to say, oh, well, the crits is just extra damage, so you can overcharge your No, you can't overcharge your damage beyond the 45% or 60% range. That's only to help you build it up to that point if you have no other way to build it up. So let's get that misconception out of the way. But being able to build it up just by landing crits, now, yeah, you know, trying to get crits intentionally is, you know, not going to be the fun way, but, like, I mean, if you're just playing the game normally, I mean, you're going to get crits. It's going to happen. No matter what. Especially if you're using some very hard-hitting moves like Dome Speed Rush. I mean, like, higher level moves do have a better chance of landing crits. I can say that much. So, just keep that in mind. Alright, so, next topic. Mentors. Mentors are not being reverted. They are not being reverted to where you can get 5 mastery points per mentor. It is going to remain at 1. It was supposed to be reverted, but then I guess they decided to leave it as it is now. I can kind of understand why they're doing that, now that mastery points are a lot more accessible. But let me make a bit of a counter argument. And that is, you need a lot of mastery points to master your forms. A lot of mastery points. To master your path form, without hitting Z rank, if I'm not mistaken, the math is like, you have to get 1,125 mastery points total. So, it's a lot of mastery points. And that's just for your path form. That's not counting ultimate, because ultimate, you're having to spend mastery points off rip. Also, your legend form, Super Saiyan 2, 3. And then just, not to mention, each path form has different, I don't know if the amount is the same for all path forms. I know for Super Saiyan 4, you need 1,125 to fully limit break it. But for other forms, for other path forms, I'm not 100% certain if the number is going to be the exact same. So there might even be a slight difference on how many mastery points you need per form. That's at that same level. So it's, I mean, it's just, all I'm saying is that it could have been left exactly how it was. A lot of people complained about it. And, come to find out, Sunny made that change without any approval from the other devs. He didn't have any approval from anybody other than himself to make that change. And I guess since now that, it's already too late, the change has already been made, and he already changed it to where it's a lot more accessible to get mastery points. And, with one of the raids being one of the easiest way to farm mastery points within just minutes, I mean, you're better off just, just doing the raids anyways. Like, it's the best method. Literally, the ultimate evolution cell raid is the best one to do, especially if you're an endgame player that has already gotten their forms, they've already mastered their forms, they've already got certain moves that can pretty much deal enough damage to either one-shot them or get them to one-shot. Either way, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, they did also recently just change it to where Beerus and Whis now drop 7 mastery points instead of 2 which they used to just drop 2, which really sucked. But now they drop 7, which is honestly a lot better, especially for the amount of work you're having to put in just to be able to get that off. Just to be able to get all the damage off that you need to beat them. So it's like, yeah, that change needs to be made. But yeah, mentors, yeah, no, they are going to remain the same as they are now, not as they were before. Which is unfortunate, because that's a lot of mastery points that you could have gotten, and you're not going to get because they did not want to change it back. But, like, what can you do? Again, I'm not trying to go at anybody's throat. I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. I'm just saying, for what it is, like, if they could have kept it the way it was, and still made it more accessible, especially for how many mastery points you need anyways. Like, they could have left it how it was. It was perfectly fine where it was. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not a dev, so I don't have any way of knowing why that change would have to be just left alone. Why they would have to agree just to not revert it. I'm not a dev, so I don't know. I don't have that mindset. But, you know, it is what it is. What can you do? What can you do? Literally, what can you do about it? While we're on the topic of drops, it does say in the patch notes that if you have 2 times drops on, you get double the mastery points from Whis and Beerus. That's not the case. As you guys see, I have 2 times drops on right now, and I am not getting the 14 mastery points I would be getting if what they said was supposed to happen. I don't know why it's not giving me double the amount of mastery points that it normally drops. But someone said that they intentionally disabled it. Some people are saying that it's something to do with the code. I don't know. I'm not getting straight answers. I'm not about to sit here and go bug gray or anything about it. It's just, it is what it is. But, you know, it kind of does suck because I'm getting... Let's not beat around the bush about this either. The drops in this game genuinely suck ass. Not that the actual items you get just suck. No, I'm talking about the drop rates. The drop rates are so unnecessarily bad that even with 2 times drops, no matter how long you're grinding for, you have a very high likelihood of not getting the thing you're trying to get. So right here, I'm pretty much the only thing I'm missing is Beerus's outfit, and you know, I just wasn't getting it. This is like, I spent like 2 hours, almost 2 hours, and you know, after I ended the video and I got like another hour in of grinding, I did eventually get it. But let me put this into perspective for y'all. I started from 0 zenny. I started from 0 zenny grinding for this outfit. And you want to know what I got? You want to know how much zenny I got? 1 million. That's how many times that I have gotten zenny from Beerus's drops. I'm not even going to bother trying to put it in a calculator or anything to try to give y'all an exact number. Just know that I did it enough times. I got zenny enough times. And I already had all the other drops except for Beerus's actual outfit. But I did it enough fucking times to get 1 million zenny. And that was just from 2 hours of grinding. And this isn't even my first attempt of trying to get his outfit. I tried last night, didn't work. I tried a couple of days ago, didn't work. I was using the codes for the double zenny, 2 times drops and all that. Wasn't exactly working out to my favor. It was not. The drop rates are really, really bad. It's when it's that bad to the point to where even 2 times drops just doesn't fucking matter. Like, something needs to change. Like, at some point, something has to change. Because, like, there's no way that I spend the equivalent of an entire day of grinding with 2 times drop rates, and I don't get a single mythic drop from Beerus. Like, how low are those odds? Because, like, I'm just finding it hard to believe that the odds are that abysmally low to where it doesn't even matter how long you grind for. It doesn't even matter if you have 2 times drops. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. The game will drop it to you when it feels like dropping it to you. And that shit is like, I fucking hate that. I genuinely despise that. Cause it's like, okay, I have 2 times drops. I should be getting a better chance of getting the item. I'm not even getting twice the drops. I'm not getting twice the Zenny. I'm not getting twice the mastery points. So, if the 2 times drops really just doesn't fucking matter for how likely you're getting the drops, what does it fucking matter to use 2 times drops to just farm for an item that the game will just not give to you until it feels like it? Like, I have 2 times drops. I feel like after a couple hours of grinding with 2 times drops, I feel like the final item that I don't have yet, should drop at some point. Like, I'm sorry, but that just doesn't make sense to me if I spend 2 hours. 2 hours with 2 times drop rates for that whole 2 hours. And the drop rates, the 2 times drops just doesn't matter for the drop rates. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And this has just kind of just been the case. And you don't even get 2 times drops. It's like, well, what's the fucking point in getting 2 times drops if it just doesn't fucking work? It's like, either it needs to drastically increase those drop rates to where you have better chances of getting the item you want, or just give me, it's like, make it worth my fucking while. Like, give me twice as any, twice the mastery points. It's like, jeez, man. That is ridiculous. Alright, one more topic before we, drag this out any further. The black market update. I'ma just be real. I understand why they didn't tell us any, like, of the spawn locations for, like, the paths. Like, where to go for the paths update, and it's like, I understand why they did that. They said what they weren't gonna do it, so it's like, I understand not telling us that information, as annoying as it was. But for the black market update, I don't think that was the best approach. To deliberately make it to where he has multiple spawn locations and not tell us where any of those spawn locations, or even give a hint of where those spawns could be. To not reveal any of that information and just basically make it up to the entire community to try to find these locations. And for the fact that it's still bugged as of this moment is ridiculous. I'm not kidding. I just looked for the black market not too long ago. Guess what? I searched every spawn location I have available. Couldn't see him. I did it again, except I went to check to see, is he just bugged to where he's just invisible? He was by he was on the island by Roshi's, in that corner that I showed y'all in that video. He was invisible. I could still talk to him, but he was just fucking invisible. Like, he just wasn't fully spawned in yet. Like, yeah, we know where the spawn locations are now. At least we know where most of the spawn locations are now. I don't know if there's more. I don't. I really don't. Is there more? I already made it a point in the video to, like, let me know if there's more, and I'll make an updated guide. But at the end of the day, like, to not tell us the spawn locations and for it to still be bugged to where you can look for it as long as you want, there's a very high likelihood that he is not going to be visible because he bugged out when spawning in. So, oh boy, that is genuinely one of the dumbest things that could be done, dude. And again, I'm not trying to go at anybody's throats here. I just, like, the reason why I'm trying to, like, why I'm criticizing the way they executed this update so much is because I want them to do better. Alright? I want them to do better than what they did with that specific update. Because, you know, again, it's like, it wasn't the paths update, so there wasn't really any reason to not tell us the spawn locations. Or at least give us a hint of where these spawn locations might be at. So, like, there wasn't really a reason to withhold some of that information. But at the same time, it's like, you withheld that information and it was still buggy as fuck. I mean, it's just, ay, man. And don't even get me started with the fact, dude, I've run into that bug so many times. Even if you talk to him, even if you're already in the screen where you're picking your item that you want to buy, there is a very good likelihood that he will despawn if too many people talk to him. And it will just yeet you out of the menu and you're just screwed because too many people were trying to talk to the black market guy. Yeah, it's just, yeah. And then with the I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the paths update. If I were to rate everything, if I were to rate the paths update, now that everything's pretty much, you know, been kind of just put together and it's the way they want it to be, I'm gonna just say it's like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. And that's being fair. That's honestly giving a fair rating. It's not too low, it's not too high. It's honestly the fairest rating I could give. 6.5 on the lowest, 7 at the highest. You know, like the patch updates, it's good. It's a good update. You know, it's something that we have been waiting for a very long time. The paths are really like, once you get the forms, they're really fun to use. They're super fucking cool. And, you know, just the passives, like, you know, since they reworked them, you know, they just made like, a lot of those paths are just a lot more fun to play on now. But to start those paths, you know, we still don't know all the spawn locations for all the items for certain paths. So there's one. And then certain paths that, you know, they require too much RNG to get, like Super Saiyan 4, Legendary Super Saiyan, that requires way too much RNG in order to be able to progress your path. They need to change that. I'm sorry, it has to happen. Okay, it's like, you know, they may think it's fine. Okay, sure. But what I'm telling you is that it's not fine, and that if you have to sit there for 12 hours straight, after you've got all the parts, everything else, if you're sitting there for like 5 to 12 hours and the form still doesn't activate, there is something genuinely wrong with that. There is no reason whatsoever that you should rely on the game to decide when it wants to give you a form. Alright, it was bad enough that Legend Quests exists and it was a 5% chance to get the form. They increased it to 20%, by the way. Now that the patch update is out, they made it a lot more easier to get your Legend Quest forms. But for your path forms, for certain path forms to heavily rely on that is ridiculous. Okay, I don't want to wait 24 fucking hours, tops, maybe more, just to go from Golden Great Ape to Super Saiyan fucking 4. I don't want to do that. Alright? I don't care if the dev that made it like that thinks it's perfectly fine. I don't care if there's some people that got lucky and got it within 5 fucking minutes. If there's people telling you that it's taking them that long to get the form, and I have video fucking evidence proving that that's the case, maybe that should just get fucking changed. Maybe you should just consider changing that at some point. I don't know. Maybe that should be, put into consideration. Like, just, that's also another reason why I'm rating the patch update where it is right now. Because I do not believe that getting a form should be RNG, just so heavily RNG based. It's just it's just not necessary. It isn't. I don't care how good the form is. I'm not under the belief that any form, regardless of how good or bad it is, should rely on RNG for you to be able to claim it. It's fucking stupid. It's dumb. And I'm saying it for what it is. But yeah, no. 7 out of 10 as far as the paths update as a whole up to this point is concerned. 6.5 to 7 out of 10. That's where I'm gonna rate it. All right, and it's a fair rating. It's not biased or anything like that. It's just I'm looking at it from a logical standpoint, and there's a lot of good things about the paths update, but there's also a lot of the bad things, and right now a lot of the bad things kinda outweighs some of the good that came with it. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it. I just wanted to kind of talk about the recent updates in the past couple of weeks for Dragon Generations. I mean, this took a bit longer than I thought it would, but it is what it is. I mean, I think this could have been a lot longer, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. Do make sure to leave a like down below. Make sure to subscribe as well as turn on notifications, and leave your thoughts down below in the comments as well. That way, you can get your thoughts out, and I'll read up on them, and then I might reply to them, and start some conversations with each other. Get some discussions going. There's only a few wrong answers. I'm not going to say there's no wrong answers. There's only a few wrong answers, okay? So, yeah, get a discussion going, Knock yourselves out. Anyways, guys, I got to get this video uploaded, and I got to start the tuffleization path video soon. So, yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Also, this is me getting the Beerus outfit. So, yeah, finally got the outfit after who knows how fucking long it took me to get it.